I don't broadside the wind like I used to do. Takes a little more patience just to see things through. The morning mirror shows a different kind of gray, but I've learned to value what the silence has to say. The maps I drew didn't keep me from the rain. Some paths brought joy, some left a quiet pain. Still I'm looking at the landscape that I grew, and the best kind of ground is the one that holds you true. We're just watching the sun go down, piece by piece, finding in the evening a long-awaited peace. Every winter brings a colder, sharper night, but there's a steady comfort in a fading light. No use holding on to what the wind already took. Every faded page makes a damn good book, and I see it now as the hours unfold. There's a heavy kind of grace in growing old. There was a time I wanted every door unlocked, staring down the highway while the old house rocked. The windows open to a loud and roaring street, letting every sudden highway song sound so sweet. Used to think the currency of life was speed, like the faster you run, the less you'll ever need. But the truth has a way of settling in the dark. The deepest fire comes from a single quiet spark. We're just watching the sun go down, piece by piece, finding in the evening a long-awaited peace. Every winter brings a colder, sharper night, but there's a steady comfort in a fading light. No use holding on to what the wind already took. Every faded page makes a damn good book, and I see it now as the hours unfold. There's a heavy kind of grace in growing old. I won't apologize for the steps I had to take, or the promises that I was too young not to break. Time is a current that you cannot turn around, but there's a beautiful way when your feet finally touch the ground. Finding in the evening a long quiet in the soul. Nothing wrong with growing old. I don't step as heavy as I used to do. Takes a long breath just to see things through. The morning mirror shows a softer gray, but I like the words that I didn't say. The papers I signed didn't buy the sky. Some plans got lost, some just passed by. Still I look around at the quiet view, and the safest ground is the one with you. We're just sitting here watching the clock spin slow, finding a little light in the evening glow. Every winter brings a colder breeze, but there's a sweet peace in the leafless trees. No need to run from what we can't control. Every single year shapes the gentle soul, and I believe as the hours unfold, there's a beautiful weight in growing old. There was a time I wanted every highway song, driving real fast all the nighttime long, windows rolled down just to chase the wind, never quite caring where the road would end. Used to think the joy was a sudden flash, like a young man's life was a golden dash. But the porch light has a way of showing clear, some of the best things are staying right here. We're just sitting here watching the clock spin slow, finding a little light in the evening glow. Every winter brings a colder breeze, but there's a sweet peace in the leafless trees. No need to run from what we can't control. Every single year shapes the gentle soul, and I believe as the hours unfold, there's a beautiful weight in growing old. I won't look back with a heavy sigh. Every storm past made a clearer sky. Time moves on, it won't delay, but there's a lot of comfort at the end of the day. We're just sitting here watching the clock spin slow, finding a little light in the evening glow. And the more I live, the less I care to prove, the less I need to shake, the less I need to move. No need to run from what we can't control. Every single year shapes the gentle soul. Now I know, as the twilight turns to gold, there is absolutely nothing wrong with growing old. Just singing a softer song, let the moment carry me along. Nothing wrong with growing old. Mm-hmm. metal keys clinking. A ceiling fan turns overhead. Behind the worn counter, hardware store keys hung from little hooks, silver teeth catching late afternoon light, while the old key machine waited patiently beside the register. Farmers in dusty caps came in for nails. Young couples bought paint for starter homes, and old men lingered longer than necessary, talking weather and baseball scores. The door swings open, the bell rings twice. Hardware store keys shining through the blue, opening small futures for the passing through. Hardware store keys, soft beneath the rain, holding quiet promises without asking names. The groove stays steady. The fluorescent lights hum. The owner knew exactly which drawer held what. Extra hinges, window latches, the right screws for fixing old screen doors, and enough advice to get you started. Deep, steady, unresolved. I've learned most people spend their lives trying to repair something. A fence, a friendship, a leaking roof, a tired heart, doing the best they can with what they have. Some locks rust, some still turn. Hardware store keys, patient as smoke, past expectation, past hope. Hardware store keys, steady as the tide, teaching worn out hands how to try again. No miracles, no shortcuts, only mending, one thing at a time. Dim, measured, unresolved. Hardware store key still hanging somewhere now, beyond certainty, beyond regret. Hardware store keys, that's all they are. And tonight, I believe in fixing things. The bell above the door settles. The key machine goes silent. The lights dim one by one, and the night locks up the shop. loose coins clatter. An ice cream truck fades away. Back when a handful of change could buy an afternoon, nickels warmed in small palms, waiting by the curb. Children listened carefully for distant melodies rolling through the neighborhood on summer wheels. The truck always seemed magical, appearing from nowhere, with painted menus and melting possibilities. Rocket pops, vanilla cones, dreams measured in pocket change. The music drifted, the children ran. Ice cream change shining through the blue, buying tiny happiness for the passing through. Ice cream change, soft beneath the rain, teaching young hearts how little it can take. The groove sways gently. The evening glows warm. Mothers call from porches to be home before dark. Fathers sat in long chairs watching the street, while sticky fingers held on to sweetness as long as they could before it disappeared. Deep, nostalgic, unresolved. I've learned the richest moments rarely announce themselves. Sometimes they're hidden inside ordinary summers, and the exact amount of coins you happen to have in your pocket. Some flavors fade, some remain. Ice cream change, patient as smoke, past expectation, past hope. Ice cream change, steady as the tide, leaving simple gratitude deep inside. No fortune, no fame, only sweetness before sunset. Dim, measured, unresolved. Ice cream change, still jingling somewhere now, beyond certainty, beyond regret. Ice cream change, that's all it was. And tonight, that feels like plenty. The melody grows distant, the sidewalk cools, the last coin leaves a pocket, and the night tastes faintly of vanilla. I don't split the wood as fast as years ago. Takes a few more breaks to keep the hearth aglow. The midnight oil burns a deeper kind of red, but I'm proud of every single word I said. The nets I cast didn't catch the silver tide. Some knots slipped, some kept me tied inside. Still I sit content by the open stove. The richest soil is where you planted love. We're just watching the tide ebb and flow, finding a little warmth in the embers glow. Every autumn brings a colder, harder frost, but you count the gains, you don't mourn what's lost. No use holding on to what the current took. Every faded scar is an open book. And I feel it now as the embers die. There's a quiet comfort in a midnight sky. There was a time I wanted every bridge to cross, counting up the wins, never mind the loss. Kept the fire burning through the freezing cold, thinking everything that glitters must be gold. Used to think the harvest was the only prize, like a man only lived under crowded skies. But the porch light has a way of turning clear. Some of the best days happen right here. We're just watching the tide ebb and flow, finding a little warmth in the embers glow. Every autumn brings a colder, harder frost, but you count the gains, you don't mourn what's lost. No use holding on to what the current took, what the current took. Every faded scar is an open book, and I feel it now as the embers die. There's a quiet comfort in a midnight sky. I won't curse the rain for the crops that fell. Every crooked well has its own story to tell. The clock keeps ticking, it don't miss a beat, but there's a sweet rest when you soothe your feet. We're just watching the tide ebb and flow, finding a little warmth in the embers glow. And the more I look, the less I need to chase, the less I need to run to find my proper place. No use holding on to what the current took, what the current took. Every faded scar is an open book. Now I know as the evening shadow falls, there is nothing wrong calls. Rain taps the glass. A refrigerator hums low. Kitchen window rain had its own language, running crooked paths down familiar pains. While the house stood still, wrapped in sleeping silence, and the clock above the stove forgot to hurry. My mother sat there sometimes, long after dishes dried, hands around a coffee cup, watching weather pass, as if the falling water might carry away the worries she never named out loud. The night leans close, the rain replies. Kitchen window rain, falling through the blue, washing quiet heartaches no one else could view. Kitchen window rain, soft beneath the teaching tired souls how to breathe and grieve. The groove moves slowly. The room stays warm. Calendar curled at the corners beside the telephone. School drawings on the fridge, held by souvenir magnets. Ordinary evidence that love often looked like routines repeated without applause. Tender, unresolved. I've learned strength rarely announces itself. Sometimes it's simply showing up tomorrow, packing lunches, paying bills, and finding grace in another rainy night. Some storms pass, some soften. Kitchen window rain, patient as smoke, past expectation, past hope. Kitchen window rain, steady as the tide, keeping small devotions alive inside. No answers, no miracles, falling somewhere now, beyond certainty, beyond regrets. Kitchen window rain, that's all it is. And tonight I understand her better. Dry snare, dark hammer, the coffee grows cold, the refrigerator hums on, the rain traces the glass, and the night keeps the house company. Mama had a white plastic laundry basket with blue handles worn smooth. One side cracked near the bottom from years of being overloaded. It traveled room to room each weekend, collecting little pieces of us. Baseball uniforms and work shirts, pajamas and Sunday socks, warm brass melody. Nobody ever thanked the basket for carrying what we shared. The grass stains from long afternoons, the flour dust from baking bread, Daddy's grease-stained undershirts, my sister's choir robes, all found their place together without complaint or judgment. Laundry basket handles, bearing all the weight, holding every season of an ordinary life. Laundry basket handles, simple as could be, proof that love knows how to carry things gentle underneath. Years later, folding clothes alone in my quiet apartment, I caught myself sorting colors exactly like Mama did. And suddenly I understood why she never rushed this work. She wasn't washing fabric, she was caring for the people inside it. Laundry basket handles, bearing all the weight, holding every season of an ordinary life. all leave messes behind. The blessing is finding someone willing to help make things clean again. Short, tender, steady.
Laundry basket handle.
Still resting in my thoughts whenever responsibility feels heavier than expected.
Laundry basket handles.
Ordinary and true, a reminder that devotion often lives without applause. The dryer hums softly, the clothespins wait nearby, and somewhere in a sunlit laundry room, love is doing another load. The rain stopped an hour ago, but the clay down here is still holding on to the water. Deep tracks left by a heavy truck that passed through yesterday. I used to think my mistakes were carved in stone. Now I see they're just marks in the mud, and the next big storm is gonna wash them all away. Look at that old crow sitting on the telephone wire. He don't look lonely. He just looks like he knows exactly how much the wind can carry. And I'm standing here on the porch, learning the same damn thing. There's a midnight mercy in the dark, a little shelter for a tired spark. The road don't owe me a single thing, but I'm still listening to the engine sing. Not running from the things I used to fear, just glad the rearview mirror is getting clear. The man I am is the man who stayed, paying the price for the track he made. I remember a girl from a town I can't name anymore, and a promise I made when my blood was hot and reckless. Sometimes those old ghosts still come around looking for a fight, but I don't argue with the past no more. I just offer it a chair and let it sit out the night. Funny thing about a long highway, you spend the first 100 miles looking for a sign, and the next 10,000 just watching the white lines fade. There's a midnight mercy in the dark, a little shelter for a tired spark. The road don't owe me a single thing, but I'm still listening to the engine sing. Not running from the things I used to fear, just glad the rearview mirror is getting clear. The man I am is the man who stayed, paying the price for the track he made. Just mud and mercy sleeping for an hour or more. The barber shop is dark tonight. The hardware locked his door. The signal at the crossing changes anyway. Red to green and back again, though nobody's on the way. Low brass melody. The laundromat on Jefferson finally went black. The movie sign lost half its lights out behind the tracks. A stray dog crosses quietly through the courthouse square, like he knows the town by memory, and every soul that's there. Most nights pass unnoticed, like pages people turn, but every now and then the dark has something left to learn. One light still on at the edge of town, shining through a second floor window, while the world settles down. One light still on, that's all I can see. But somehow in the distance, it keeps company with me. Soft hammering underneath. Maybe someone's reading, maybe someone's awake, maybe they're just sitting there for old habit's sake. I don't need the answer, and I don't need a name. Some things matter simply because they quietly remain. The years can make you restless, or they can make you slow, and sometimes they just teach you a few things worth knowing. One light still on at the edge of town, shining through a second floor window, while the world settles down. Whoa, one light still on, that's all I can see. But somehow in the distance, it keeps company with me. I used to think the meaning was hiding somewhere far. Now I find it waiting in ordinary parts. A porch, a window, a road without a sound. Short. One light still on as the midnight drifts along. Not bright enough to guide me, just bright enough to belong. One light still on through the stillness and the calm, like a small reminder that the night means no harm. The light keeps shining, the town keeps breathing, slow and steady, all night long. 1:15 at the all-night car wash. Frank was sitting in the office with his boots kicked off. Reading last week's sports section for maybe the third time through. Waiting on the kind of customers that rarely come after 2. Warm brass answer. The vacuum hoses hung motionless along the concrete base. A cigarette machine near the entrance hadn't worked in days. Across the road, a billboard advertised a rodeo show that already happened 6 months back, but nobody took it down. Some places don't close, they just get quieter until the smallest sounds start carrying the room. 1:15 and the town's running thin. Just a few porch swings moving in the southern wind. 1:15, nothing much to report, but that's the hour when ordinary things start meaning a little more. Soft melodic phrases, gentle hammering of you. A taxi pulled into bay number 2. Driver looked half asleep. Asked for $4 worth of tokens and a cup of coffee if possible. Frank pointed toward the thermos sitting near the wall, said, "Help yourself, partner." That was about all. And nobody remembers evenings like the one they had tonight until 20 years later, when they suddenly do. 1:15 and the town's running thin. Just a few porch swings moving in the southern wind. 1:15, nothing much to report, but that's the hour when ordinary things start meaning a little more. The taxi left spotless, the coffee pot empty, and the radio switched from country music to a preacher from Nashville talking about forgiveness. Short, relax, conversational. 1:15, the moon slipping west, the office clock gaining 3 minutes like it always did. 1:15, another shift nearly through, another collection of small moments nobody planned to keep. The neon keeps buzzing, the soap water drains away, and Frank turns another page. Next to the freight depot, where the tracks cut through downtown, there's a lunch counter built in 1948, still serving folks around. The stools are red but faded, the menu board leans slightly left, and the ceiling fan keeps wobbling like it's short of breath. Low brass melody. Charlie runs the grill alone, most afternoons till 3. He can crack 4 eggs one-handed without missing a beat. The railroad men all know him, the truck drivers do too, and half the town is probably eating there at least once or twice. Some places get famous, some places get forgotten, and some places just keep showing up every single day. Railroad lunch counter, coffee black and hot, serving bacon pie and conversation, whether busy or not. Railroad lunch counter, beside the old train line, holding together little pieces of a town over time. Soft hammering underneath. A conductor named Wilson takes the 3rd stool every week, orders ham on rye and mustard, and reads the classifieds. A young mechanic from the service station stops in before his shift, while Charlie fills a dozen coffee cups without looking down. Most people don't remember what they ate on a Tuesday, but they remember who they sat beside and how the room felt. Railroad lunch counter, coffee black and hot, serving bacon pie and conversation, whether busy or not. Railroad lunch counter, beside the old train line, holding together little pieces of a town over time. Around 2:30, a freight train rolls past. The cups rattle softly, nobody looks up. They're all used to it. Short, friendly, unpolished. Railroad lunch counter. As another day rolls on, the pie case grows emptier, the sunlight shifts along the floor. Railroad lunch counter, nothing much has changed, and maybe that's exactly why people keep coming back. The grill cools slowly, the train keeps moving, and Charlie wipes the counter one more time. I don't talk as loud as I did back then. Takes a little time just to breathe again. The morning sun finds the silver in my hair, but I like the weight of the coat I wear. The promises I made didn't all come through. Some roads broke and some broke you. Still I find comfort in the changing view. What stays behind is what belongs to you. We're just walking this road step by step in time. Little sparks of light in a grand design. Every winter brings a clearer, sharper sight. There's a quiet grace in another sunrise. No need to fight what we can't control. Every single mile shapes the heart and soul. And I believe as the days unfold, there's a beautiful strength in growing old. There was a time I wanted every neon light, driving real fast through the deep of the night. Windows rolled down with the music turned up high, chasing every shadow that was passing by. You used to think the youth was the only thing that lasts, like every piece of joy belonged to the past. But the midnight hours have a way of showing through. Some of the sweetest things come late to you. We're just walking this road step by step in time. Little sparks of light in a grand design. Every winter brings a clearer, sharper sight. There's a quiet grace in another sunrise. No need to fight what we can't control. Every single mile shapes the heart and soul. And I believe as the days unfold, there's a beautiful strength in growing old. I won't look back with a heavy regret. Every single storm made me stronger yet. Time keeps moving, it won't slow down, but there's a lot of beauty waiting in this town. We're just walking this road step by step in time. Little sparks of light in a grand design. And the more I live, the less I have to prove, the less I have to shake, the less I have to move. No need to fight what we can't control. Every single mile shapes the heart and soul. Now I know as the days unfold, there's nothing wrong with growing old. Just humming a slower song. Let the moment carry me